Ready for a deep dive? This time we're exploring the July 2024 issue of OCQ magazine. You know, that digital magazine. It's for independent professionals.
Freelancers, consultants, entrepreneurs, the whole shebang.
Exactly. And this issue is all about AI.
Which, let's be honest, is everywhere these days.
It really is. But this magazine always brings it back to the human side of things, which I appreciate. Like, they kick things off by talking about community.
Which is so key when you're working for yourself.
They highlight this group, Meetup Utrecht, and it's more than just networking.
Right. They've been around for a bit, but what's interesting is that the founder, Peter Klink, is really pushing its potential now.
Yeah, he sees it as an antidote to all the isolation that independent professionals often face. He actually says, and I'm quoting here, "Ik ben zo overtuigd van de potentiële kracht van onze Meetup-groep, maar deze zal eerst veel interactiever moeten worden. Daarom investeer ik gemeenschappelijk komend jaar extra veel tijd, geld en facilitaire middelen in."
Wow, he's really putting himself out there. It shows how much he believes in it.
He's putting his money where his mouth is, for sure.
And honestly, think about it. When you're juggling clients, admin, all of it, having that network, it's huge.
It really is. A place to bounce ideas around or just, like, grab a coffee with people who get it.
And the article mentions that this Meetup Utrecht group, it's just 1 out of 90,000 worldwide.
Wow. 90,000. That says something, doesn't it?
It really does. There's a real need for connection out there.
Definitely. But okay, let's talk about how this issue dives into AI.
Because it's not just about community, right?
Right. They actually talk about AI enhancing our well-being, which honestly at first I thought, really?
It does sound a little counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It does. But then there's this article about Thrive AI Health. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, it's that new collaboration between OpenAI and Thrive Global. It's an interesting concept.
It really is. They're calling it an AI-powered health coach, which, I don't know, sounds kind of sci-fi, to be honest.
A little bit, yeah. But the idea is to use AI to help us, actually live healthier.
Okay, so how does that even work?
Well, they have some serious people involved, which is interesting. You've got OpenAI, obviously, but also Arianna Huffington.
Right, from Thrive Global.
And the CEO, DeCarlos Love, he worked on Fitbit at Google, so he knows this world.
So they mean business.
They do, and what struck me was they're aiming big. Like, they want to tackle chronic diseases.
Yeah, I noticed that too. The article mentioned that chronic and mental health issues make up 90% of healthcare spending in the U.S., which is, what, over $4 trillion?
It's a massive amount. So if they can even make a small dent in that.
It would be huge.
Exactly.
So, okay, I'm intrigued, but how does this whole AI health coach even work? Is it like having a little doctor in your pocket?
Well, not exactly. The article describes it more as a personalized guide.
A guide, okay.
And it's based on this idea of micro steps, which are small changes you make in your daily routine.
Instead of like overhauling your entire life, which never works.
Exactly. Small changes that add up over time. And the AI factors in your personal data, your goals.
So it's tailoring recommendations specifically to you.
Exactly. And they've partnered with like Stanford Medicine, the Rockefeller Neuroscience Institute, all these big names to make sure it's legit.
Which is reassuring because we are talking about our health data here.
Right. And speaking of that, we should probably address the elephant in the room, that OpenAI security breach.
It does make you wonder about the whole security and privacy aspect, especially with something as sensitive as health info.
Yeah, the article touches on that too. It emphasizes that Thrive AI Health will have really strong security measures in place, but it definitely makes you think.
It does. It raises the question, are we at a point where we're ready to trust AI with our health?
That's a big question.
It really is. But on the topic of well-being, this issue of OCQ also dives into something a little different. And I think you're going to find this fascinating. They talk about the nervus vagus.
What?
The nervus vagus.
Okay, now you have my attention. What is that? It's this nerve. It runs from your brain and connects to like a bunch of your organs.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's kind of like, what, a messenger system?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the article, it focuses on how it affects stress and pain.
Okay, see, now that is something I can get behind. Who doesn't have those two things?
Right, and it's written by Kiki Kemp. She's a mind-body therapist, a pain reset method specialist.
She also runs this practice, Kirinetics, so she knows what she's talking about.
Definitely an expert. So basically, she explains how your nervous system is like, imagine a car.
Okay, I'm picturing a car. Go on.
You've got the gas pedal, right? That's your sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, all that.
That's the one that gets me into trouble, usually.
And then there's the brake pedal, which is your parasympathetic nervous system. And guess what's the big player there?
I'm guessing the nervous vagus.
You got it. So when it's working right, it's like hitting the brakes on stress.
Which, let's be real, we could all use more of that.
Right. And get this. The article gives you actual tips for, like, stimulating your nervous vagus.
Okay, I am listening. Hit me with these tips.
Some are things you've probably heard before, like deep breathing. That's a big one.
Really? So that 4-7-8 thing where you breathe in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8.
That's it. That's working that nervous vagus magic.
Wild. It's amazing how these simple things can make such a difference.
It really is. Meditation is another one. Mindfulness. Those are good.
Those I've heard of. What about, like, the more physical stuff? I'm into yoga, tai chi, that kind of thing.
Oh, those are fantastic for the nervous vagus. And then there's this one that might surprise you. Cold exposure.
Yeah, like cold showers, because I don't know about all that.
It doesn't have to be extreme. Even just a splash of cold water on your face can help.
Okay, that I can do. I'm not jumping into an ice bath or anything.
Right. Little steps. And you know what else is surprisingly helpful? Singing.
Wait, seriously? So, like, singing in the car? That's good for me.
It engages those vocal cords, activates the nerve. Who knew?
That is wild.
Oh, and there's this little exercise. Put your hands on your head and just look up.
Really? I have to try that. Sounds bizarre, but interesting.
It's about stimulating those pathways in your neck. But the thing is, and this is what Kiki Kemp really emphasizes, it's not just physical, it's the mind-body connection.
Right, like our thoughts, our emotions, all of it plays a role.
Exactly, it's holistic. But speaking of connections, this issue of OCQ, it jumps from our insides to, get this, a big event, Data Expo 2024.
Data Expo. Okay, so something a little more external.
It's happening in September at the Jaarbeurs Utrecht. They say it's the biggest one yet, all about data for businesses.
So if you're like, data, what do I do with all this data? This is the place to be.
Exactly that. Over 120 speakers, tons of exhibitors. It's a lot.
Sounds intense. But also, like, you're going to get real strategies, right? Not just theory.
Absolutely practical stuff. It's all about the how-tos.
Love that. So we've got community, well-being, now data. Is there anything this magazine doesn't cover?
Well, they know their audience. They know entrepreneurs. Sometimes we forget to actually enjoy the success.
Oh, you mean that article about AI being your business partner while you're on vacation?
That one. Because isn't that the dream?
To actually unplug. It feels impossible sometimes.
Right. But AI, it can help with that. Like, imagine you're on a beach and your AI assistant is handling customer service.
Okay, now that is a vacation. Sign me up.
And it can handle your marketing, too. Keep everything running.
So you can actually relax and not worry about your phone buzzing every 5 seconds.
Exactly. And then when you're ready, you can get those AI-powered analytics, get the big picture.
So you're in control, not your inbox.
Exactly. Reclaim your time, you know?
Which is so important. It's all connected back to well-being, isn't it?
It really is. And speaking of AI, OCQ, they actually give you a list of tools, like ChatGPT, obviously.
Well, who isn't talking about ChatGPT these days? It's everywhere.
Right. But there's also Google's version, Gemini.
Yeah, that's the new one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a chance to check it out yet.
It's supposed to be even more powerful. And then there's Claude AI, too.
Lots of choices.
Which is good. It's all about finding what works for you.
I like it. I have to say, even with all this AI talk, part of me still feels a little, I don't know, intimidated.
I get it. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But that's why I think this issue of OCQ is so great. It breaks it down.
It does. It makes it feel manageable. So as we're wrapping up this deep dive into the July issue, of OCQ, what are some of the big takeaways? What do you hope our listeners are thinking about?
I think this issue really shows us that AI is here. It's not the future. It's now.
And it's not just some abstract thing. It's like tools we can use. Right?
Exactly. No matter what your business is, there's something there for you.
I like that we've moved past all the hype and we're getting into the okay, but how?
It's practical now. But it's also a good reminder that human element, still important.
We don't have to become robots ourselves, right?
Right. Embrace the tech, but keep those connections strong. Think about Meetup Utrecht. That need for community never goes away.
It's both, isn't it? The tech and the human side.
It really is. And that's what I liked about this issue of OCQ. It's not pushing one or the other. It's about how they work together.
To make our lives and our businesses better.
Exactly.
You know, I have to say, that stuff about the nervous vagus, I've actually been trying that 4-7-8 breathing.
Oh, yeah. How's it going?
I think it's helping. It's wild how powerful those little things can be.
It's true. Sometimes the simplest stuff is the most effective. And this whole issue is kind of like that. It gives you all this information from AI to your own body.
It's empowering, right?
Absolutely. You walk away feeling like you can actually use this stuff.
Make smarter choices.
Exactly. So for anyone listening who wants to check it out themselves,
How do they get their hands on the next issue?
the next one comes out August 15th, and you can find it online at www.oc-q.com.
Perfect. And with that, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the July issue of OCQ magazine. Until next time.